Hey, it's Rebecca Rutherford. Welcome to the What in the Well podcast. My friend Angie Huber and I are here to provide an entertaining and relatable perspective on well-being. If you want to shift your mindset and make incremental progress toward your work and home life goals, you are in the right place.
Rebecca, great to see you.
Angie,
welcome.
Great to see you. Yes.
Thanks. Welcome, listeners. Welcome to another episode of What in the Well podcast. We are so dang thankful you are joining Rebecca and I today in our conversation and every week. So if you are a regular tuner-inner, hopefully this topic for you today resonates. And if you are new to the podcast, welcome. We are so excited to have you here today. Each week, Rebecca and I are intentional and feel it's so important to bring you real time, relatable, hopefully a little funny, practical tips for things that we are experiencing in our lives as working moms, but also coupling that with our expertise a little bit. We have a little bit of expertise in this area of leadership, coaching, consulting from our corporate backgrounds. So coupling that with working mom and all the things that we hope that we bring you relatable and practical topics. So one that Rebecca and I thought was very timely for today, our topic is surviving. I think Rebecca calls it surviving. I'm determined to make it thriving, but wherever you're at is fine. Either you're surviving or you're thriving this season of summer as a working mom. So our topic today is surviving or thriving this crazy season of summer. So Rebecca, how are you? Just checking in. How are you? How's your work? And how are you surviving or thriving this summer?
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and say that I am surviving. Okay, right. I think a key part, I'm just going to dive right in. A key part to it is just expectation setting. And so I knew when I made a spreadsheet back in March of my kids' camp schedules and how I was going to actually manage to do some work in this season, I knew that I needed to keep the bar pretty low. So, but you know how like when you're like getting your picture taken in a group or whatever, and you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands, so like I feel like
the hair look okay, sunglasses, right, like, no sunglasses,
I don't know where
to, what do I do?
It's like, am I doing that thing where I like try to put my arm back so my fat arms don't look so fat? Like I feel like that's kind of where I am right now. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm like context switching constantly. I'm like, all right, what do we have this week? Who's home? Like the routine is just hijacked. And, I mean, I knew that coming into it, but it doesn't make it any easier. And I'm just kind of like, as a parent, you're always questioning whether or not you're doing it right, whatever that means. And so right now I'm kind of like, all right, so where are my kids? Are they in the house? When's the last time they bathed? Have we brushed our teeth? Do they have toothbrushes? Like there's such a like early quarantine pandemic vibe in my house right now where we're all just kind of looking at each other like, what's going on? Like where did it go? We're adapting. We're tired. We're not bored yet, but I see that coming. Yeah. So that's me.
So surviving.
Yeah.
But lowering expectations.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that. What else are you learning? Or any funny stories? Like what's the story of your son that showed up with a naked bottom a couple weeks ago on a meeting or something?
Yeah. So
like this is real, y'all. Like I'm on meetings all day. I'm hearing kids in the background screaming. God. Zoom meetings have went back to pandemic vibe.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the pandemic, he was 3, and there were a lot of instances where he would come and crawl on my lap in Zoom meetings and pick his nose in front of the people on the other side of it when I didn't even know it. And so this time around, he's like self-sufficient enough to where he like all the time I'm like, Mason, when is the last time you bathed? And so he goes and takes a shower. Well, he did that one day while I was on a meeting and just next thing I know, his naked bottom is walking into my office and like climbing on my lap. I didn't know he was naked until he was on my on my lap. And I was like, well, this is this is happening right now. So
Where's HR? Don't call
yeah.
HR.
No, exactly. I'm like, I just like put some pants on, maybe. Just a thought. So that happened. And so work is going well.
Well, and isn't it like
Oh,
lowering expectations with your house, but then also how are you, what's your mindset around expectations with work too?
yeah. Yeah.
To be
So
productive. Like what's that been like?
the moment I saw the spreadsheet that I had made about my kids' lives, what those were going to look like this
Yeah.
summer, I knew that I had to just status quo my workload.
What are you doing for yourself by opening that up?
Yeah,
Like
well,
by
I'm not,
honoring that, like, hey, I need
yeah,
to still do a good job with what I have. I might not be able to
right.
grow in this moment. What's that opening up for you?
Yeah, well, so I looked at the entire balance of what I need in my life in order to feel like my whole self and not just like a fragment of my struggling self. And so what I had to do was keep my consistent exercise or like,
Yeah.
body movement routine and like be more intentional about the food that I keep around and stuff like that. Cause, it's like popsicle city over here right now. But I've at least been able to continue the balance of getting into yoga, getting into my
Yeah.
strength training classes that I take. And, that was like the baseline. So, whereas normally old me would have been like, well, I guess I gotta like, I want more clients because I'm so career driven, but I can't do that at the expense of my own health. So I had to choose.
That's powerful to look at the whole system of your life and say,
Right.
what does good
Yeah.
look like for this season?
Yeah.
It's a season
It is a
so
season.
that you're not completely stressed out.
Right, exactly. So
Wow,
how
that's
let's
powerful.
thank you. Yeah, so let's talk about you. What's going on? How are you surviving? How is your well,
You hear
you're
my neck
yeah,
cracking?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. I thought it was fireworks, but
So the
um
reality is I'm in a
mhm.
little hole bunker. I've been kicked out of my house because I have
Oh,
3 kids, a dog, and a husband who's a teacher who is now home over the summer.
yeah.
And so my work from home is no longer work from home. Mama was like, they're like, we don't want you here on your Zoom meetings doing your stuff all day long.
Right.
So here I
It's way
am,
too
like in a
tempting to come in there naked when you are. So,
so here I am in like a little closet, I feel like
right.
coming to you live, doing a podcast
That's
over
fine.
here. Um, Same thing I think I've learned through the years a little bit, and I'm still learning, as my kids are growing, is yeah, this is summers are how the school system is no longer built about around the reality of working moms. It just is.
No.
I have a million friends. We're all in the same boat with kids trying to figure out all the camps. It takes, you think that you're a good planner? Wait till you have to plan for summer. It
Yeah.
takes that skill set up a complete notch. Like this week, even we had swim team at 8, basketball camp at 9, violin at 3,
Mhm.
soccer, a different kid with a soccer camp at 6 to 8, organizing all the things, running around. The youngest son goes to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays and trying to get him into the like it's crazy town.
Right. Yeah,
It's
it absolutely
confusing.
is.
It's confusing.
It is so
Most days
confusing.
I'm missing stuff most days. I'm
Yeah.
surprised my son gets to school with his clothes on kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he brushes his teeth because he's home with dad. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Sometimes I go
Um,
to exercise class and I'm like, am I wearing pants? I don't know. Like I have to look down before I get out of my
today,
car. I did
today,
put on pants.
today I had my shirt. It was really wrinkled. I threw it in the dryer right before I left out of the house. I walked out to the van and, and I was like, whoops, I need to go get my shirt.
Right.
I need to go get my shirt from the van. This
That's good
would
that you
not,
remembered.
because they would call HR on me. If,
Absolutely. Yes.
um, but I'm laughing about it and I'm
Yeah.
not stressed. It's
Yeah.
stressful. I heard
Mm.
this great thing the other day, and it just speaks to me in the season of summer and the season that we're in right now, is that Pressure is inevitable. So the chaos is going to happen. The pressure
Yeah.
is inevitable. The schedules are inevitable, but stress is optional. And today I choose to rise above.
Mm-hmm.
That has literally been part of my mental fitness routine that, we've talked about in previous podcasts that I do every morning. I've literally started to write that one down.
Yeah.
Pressure is inevitable. Stress is optional. Today I am choosing to rise above.
Wow.
Otherwise, the pressure and the chaos at all my work, what's happening at work and what's going on at home, it's chaos. But I get to choose. We get to choose how we respond to it. So the stress is optional. And so while I feel the stress, I have to remind myself every day, literally every morning, like, I have a choice. Am I going to get sucked up in this vortex of craziness? Or am I going to stay calm, take it as it comes, celebrate, man, some of the cool moments? There's some cool moments that are happening during summer. And if we don't stop just to be in it, we miss it. And so I'm trying to find those moments. So that's where I'm at with it.
I think that's brilliant. It's early on for me, and I'm just trying to settle in. I know, the thing is, the kids, they do so much better when they have their school routine. We all do. It's like,
of course,
you
right.
get in this rhythm. So one of the things I've been trying to do is still like figure out what kind of routine I can feasibly create as every week goes by. And there's, camps and whatever else that constantly change. But one of the things too is that I've had to broaden the idea of routine. Actually, my husband and I laugh because when quarantine started in the pandemic, we created this, what we now refer to as like adorable, like routine on a poster board where it was like, all right, like 9 to 10 is art time, 10 to 11 is fitness. And
we tried to do that too.
We framed it because we're like, that was adorable. Like it's a relic, a pandemic relic in our basement right now. And because it was a really nice thought, but like in real, like true execution, it fell fast. And we just had to like take the post-it notes off and be like, all right, so from 9 to 11, tablets, like snack time is off the table. They know when they're hungry and they will come and ask, I assure you. Like, so there's some expectations that I've had to adjust as far as like what a real routine can look like. But I've already become a little bit of a master negotiator this summer. So like when my son came in for NACI time during my meeting, I was like, I got to figure out a way to incentivize him to not come in my office when I'm working. And so I figured out that because he loves Legos so much, Legos make a great bribery tool. So and he loves going to Target because he's, he is an apple that did not fall so far from this tree. So I was like, buddy, you stay out of here till 12 o'clock. I will take you to Target and you can pick out 2 Lego sets. And it was like his eyes got wide. And I'm like, that is the negotiation. And it cost me $70, but I got a few hours out of it. It's like not as cheap as camp, but so I've had to learn how to be kind of like a good briber and negotiator with my children and figure out like, what are the things that I can do creatively to get them.
And I would even rise above the bribery because, that's like, but it's around the boundaries. It's healthy boundaries and setting boundaries and helping expectations and because they need that. They need that too. And what skills can they be learning during this time as well?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Rebecca, I'd love to know, like, what are your do you have a couple of learnings or tips that you want our listeners to know about how do you thrive in this summertime or even survive, which is fine. If our listeners out there are like, I'm just not gonna be able to thrive. I just need to survive. Like,
exactly.
You've shared a few already, but is there any other?
tips? So 2 more things really. I mean, the negotiation was one, but the other part of it too is like you kind of mentioned like boundary setting, right? So we have created, my husband and I came up with, the things that fundamentally to us matter in order to, optimize the health of our children. So things like they've got to move their body. they've got to have a break from, screens or whatever else and do something either artistic or creative or so it's got to be either reading or something along those lines and not reading on a tablet, like reading a book.
Right.
And then protein and vegetables. And so they're used to every day, like getting some sort of treat after dinner, like a small thing. But every single day, part of their requirement, their guidelines now is you've got to do that yourself. You've got to figure out a way to get some, a certain amount of fitness in, like 30 to 30 minutes or so, creativity, and then health-wise, like eating. So instead of having a really planned out routine, it's more like here are the guidelines for the day.
Yeah.
Achieve at your own leisure.
Yeah.
Give them some space to have summer. I don't want it to be extraordinarily rigid. So that's one thing that we've started doing. And then, the other thing too is like lean on your tribe, right? So there are so many of us who are in the same situation. And I've talked to other parents about like kind of co-oping, like, hey, look, there's a day coming up where I don't know what to do with my children. And like, let's trade. What's a day where you could use a break or you have some work that you need to get done where I can take on your children while we, or go run errands or whatever it may be, like lean on your tribe. So those are, I think those are two things that are helping me survive this summer so far.
Absolutely.
It's early.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
how about you?
A couple of things that I would share are what you mentioned is, but I just want to double down on letting go of expectations, resetting. What does a successful, thriving summer look like? Real. And what do you need to let go of? Like, so how do you reset expectations, lower them, that it's not going to be the same season that it is when you're in school and in that much more rhythmic. So letting go of expectations, lowering them, my delegate.
Yeah.
We are humans. We are meant to be connected. We have packs. Use your tribe. I would not be I am blessed. And because my husband's a teacher, so he's home. But he's our help. He is literally our help. And I've leaned on him and delegated. He has taken over so much.
Yeah.
But everybody needs that. So I love, like, if you don't have that luxury, right? It's like, do you have a sitter? What are the camps? How are you co-opting? How do you negotiate different hours at your work if you can do that? Like, you ask for help, ask for help. Like, I can't utilize your tribe. So letting
100%.
delegating, and keeping up. You mentioned this earlier, but the other thing that I had was keeping up the consistent, healthy habits of self-care.
Yeah.
So the things that I have not stopped, because it is foundational, is my mental fitness routine every morning to get grounded, and the body movement. And I've also had to let go on being as rigid and successful that I want to be on my health, like on my weight goals. And so I've just had to say, this is a season of maintaining. If I can do my mental fitness, get my movement in, I'm just not going to lose this summer. That's okay. We'll pick it back up. Right. We'll pick it back up.
Exactly.
How do I continue to make sure that I'm fueling myself properly, so then I can show up to do that? So
yeah, exactly. It's like you hear a lot about like what is it, hot girl summer. I'm like, you know what, y'all are getting mom bod summer. Like,
that's the other thing, like, this is not the bod this year for me at all, like not at all. But I'm like, you know what, I just need to accept that, like, love myself in this season, celebrate that we're doing an awesome job, celebrate that we're doing the best that we can, in all aspects of life, and it's good enough. Like, it's good enough. The other thing is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, lean in when you can, but otherwise just lay down.
Lean in or lay down. That's our tips for you today. If you can't lean in, just lay down. Take it down.
I did that yesterday.
I've been waking up and I love hearing nature in the morning. So I've been literally going outside just for a few minutes, just while I do my I am statements and my kind of mental fitness grounding. I'm doing it outside because it's so nice. It's so quiet. It's a few minutes a piece. And I find it fills up my cup a ton. The last tip that I would share is, and it depends on ages of your kids, right? So everybody that's listening is going to have different age kids, but when they are at an age where they can be empowered to help, empower them. That's the other thing that we've been doing, is giving the kids more chores, more jobs, more things to do while they are at home, so that they can contribute. Because what we have set the expectation is, we're a team. We're all part of this family, and everyone gets to contribute. That's what it's how it gets. So we've been empowering and delegating again, help even to the kids, even to my daughter, especially because she can help out.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, as we wrap today on our session, is there any key takeaway or
I mean, I think
bit of advice?
It really just
lean in or lay down. Anything, any other good words of wisdom?
Write that down and put it on your wall if you have to. I think for me too, it's just really like what I said in the very beginning. Like, I might not be able to thrive this summer. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to have moments where I feel like, I'm thriving, but, expectations is like, keep it steady, maintain, do your best, and just whatever you can't, let it go, and just know that on the other side of this summer is a routine that you're used to that will come back and everything will be just fine.
Yeah. And my last bit of advice is, enjoy the chaos. There can be a lot of joy and fun and laughter and smiles, even amidst this season. Smile with your kids, hug your kids, laugh with them a little bit. Listen, get out and dance a little bit, do whatever you got to do, but enjoy. There's moments for joy, even in this season of chaos.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of What in the Well. Be sure to review, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. And if you have a topic you'd like us to cover, share it in the comments. Stay well until we meet again.